Okay, so the lesson that I'm going to be teaching today is the lesson of safety. I'm going to be teaching it to beginner white sail level 1 sailors. Okay, so the objective of today's lesson is that by the end of it, the students should be able to recognize all aspects of safety equipment and behavior when on the shore and on the water, as well as be able to always dress for and be prepared for the day's weather before coming to class. Okay. Now, our first topic is going to be life jackets, or the PFD.
What does PFD stand for?
PFD stands for Personal Flotation Device, and it's just a life jacket. Okay, now life jackets are the most important part of safety. They're to be worn at all times when you are anywhere near water, docks, or boats. Okay, it's very, very important for safety because if you aren't wearing a life jacket, it is really easy to drown when you're in a boat, and the number one priority is that you need to be safe at all times. So you can't not wear a life jacket, because if you drown, then that is the worst possible thing that can happen. And it's number one that you stay safe. So you always have to wear a life jacket when you're on the water or near it at all. Okay, it's just really dangerous to not wear a PFD, so always wear it whenever you're near the water at all. Okay, so this is finding the right personal flotation device for yourself. Now, this is my life jacket or PFD, and it's suitable for me because, as you can see, it is the right size for me, for my height and for my weight. You can check by looking at this inside section right here. Okay, now also when you're looking for a life jacket for you, you want to make sure that it's in good shape. And as you can see, it's not falling apart at all. It is in good shape, in good repair, and if it goes into the water, it's not going to fall apart and it's going to keep me afloat. Okay. You also want to make sure that when you're wearing it, it fits snugly to your body so that it's not loose and it's not going to slip off you when you're in the water. Okay. Also, your life jacket must be Ministry of Transportation or MOT approved, because if it's not Ministry of Transportation approved, then it can just be a cheap knockoff life jacket and it isn't safe to be wearing. Okay, I'm now going to demonstrate how to put on a life jacket. So the first thing is that you have to put it over your shoulders and secure it so that it's snugly fit. Now, this one doesn't have a zipper, but most do. And you have to first do up all the zippers to make sure that they fit. Or in this one, you just need to do up all the buckles so it's tight. Now, this is pretty tight, but if it wasn't tight enough and it was too loose, I would have to pull on these straps to adjust them to make sure that they fit properly. Now, as you can see, if I fall in the water, I'm going to be safe, I'm going to float. It's not going to slip off me, and it's Ministry of Transportation approved, so this is a good, safe working life jacket. Okay, moving on. A really important aspect of safety is knowing the weather, okay? Now, you always need to check the weather forecast before you go out on the water. What do you think are some ways that you can check the weather before going anywhere, before even leaving your house in the morning? Yep.
Listen to the radio for the weather forecast.
Yes, perfect. I have that on my sheet. The first one, actually. Listen to the radio for local weather forecast because they can generally be pretty good when trying to find out what the weather's going to be like. Okay, anything else?
Look at the computer.
Yep, perfect. Use the internet. You can use the internet basically to search instantly to what you want to find. You can look up storm patterns, weather conditions currently, future weather conditions, wind, water temperature, everything. That's a really good resource. Okay. Yes?
How about just looking up at the sky?
Yep, that's also a really good one because if you're listening to the radio, it can possibly not be current and it can be wrong. But if you look outside and you just see, oh, it's really windy, or it's not sunny, it's raining, anything like that, you just know it instantly. Okay, now preparing for the weather. If you know that it's going to be a really hot and sunny day, what should you wear? Or what should you have with you?
Bikini.
Right you are. Okay.
Sunglasses?
Yep. I have here sunglasses that will work perfectly. These are moderately expensive, but it doesn't matter because they'll keep the sun out of your eyes and they'll stop you from being blinded on the water. Okay. Another important thing for when you're out in the hot sun is sunscreen. I have here sunscreen with an SPF of 45. Now, when you're on the water on a really hot sunny day, you want to make sure that you have the highest SPF possible. So 45 is even cutting it because depending on who you are or what your skin's like, you may want a higher SPF or a lower. It's all preference, but I would suggest a higher SPF. Okay, now another thing that you might want to wear is a short-sleeved shirt such as this one. Probably not in black, because if it's in black then it's going to absorb the sun's heat and it can make you hot and uncomfortable. But it's short sleeved, so you'll be able to get a good breeze and you won't overheat. It's also moderately important to have a hat that can keep the sun either off the back of your neck or off your face. And then the most important thing probably is to have a water bottle with you at all times, because heat exhaustion and dehydration are major problems. So if you carry around a bottle of water with you, then it is perfect for keeping you hydrated and healthy and staying safe. Okay, next, how about in rain or wet sailing? What can you bring with you to keep you safe and keep you dry?
A rain jacket?
Yes, perfect. You can wear a rain jacket. You can wear something like this. These are moderately heavy-duty storm gear pants. So you'd wear them with a large jacket as well, probably the same material, and it will keep the water off you and keep you warm. So that's probably the best thing that you can wear. Okay, now how about in cold weather or cold water sailing?
A wetsuit or a dry suit?
Yep, perfect. The most important thing to wear when you're in cold water is going to be this. A strong, full-body wetsuit that can keep you warm, and how it works is it lets a small layer of water in, and then your body heat actually warms the water up, and that will keep you warm in really, really cold water. Okay. It's also really important to wear a sweater if you're going to be out sailing in the cold. Probably not if it's raining, but if it gets really wet with cold water, then it'll just be heavy and it'll be a nuisance. But if you're just out and it's a cold day, then a sweater is important to keep your body temperature. Okay, now, what are some things that you always need to wear at all times?
Life jacket.
Yeah, perfect. You always want to wear your PFD when you're on the water or near it, or yeah, just whenever. It's an essential to safety and you always need to have it with you. Okay, what else?
Sunscreen.
Sunscreen is important when you're outside, but it's not always, because some days the UV rating or ultraviolet rating can be lower, which means that being burnt by the sun isn't such an issue. But another really important one for when you're on boats or near the water are these. These are closed-toed shoes, and you always need to wear them when you're on a boat or doing anything with boats, because there are lots of small sharp objects, or your feet can get tangled in lines, or anything can happen, and you need to keep your toes and your feet safe, and you can do that by wearing closed-toed shoes. Because if you wear, for example, flip-flops or sandals that aren't closed-toed, then it's just a recipe for disaster. You can get cuts on your feet, you can lose toes, anything can happen. Okay, so those are two main important things that you need to always wear. So life jacket and closed-toed shoes. Okay, now how about safety behavior? What behavior do you need to imply or use to be safe. You need to show respect at all times. So don't steal people's shoes, don't steal their life jackets. Have respect for them, because not respecting boats or equipment or clothing or belongings or anything like that can lead to problems and lead to safety risks. Okay, also, no horseplay. Because horseplay, as we know, with kids or anyone, can lead to just violence or someone being hurt or upset. And it can also lead to destruction of property or of equipment, which is not good. Okay, also, no running near hazards. That's really important. So if you're running down the shore near sharp rocks, don't run, because if you fall, then you can be really badly hurt. Or if you're in or on docks or near boats or anything, don't run, because there are lots of parts that you can fall and hurt yourself on. Also, accept everyone, because if you aren't accepting of people because you don't like their attitude or the way they look, then it can lead to problems, again, with violence or just fighting and all that, and it's just not good. So to be safe, you basically just need to be respectful and be self-conscious and think of what's going to happen from your actions. Okay, now I'm going to do a review of the safety aspects. Now, what do you guys think are the 4 most important parts of safety that I've talked about?
Your life jacket.
Number 1, wear a PFD always. Okay, now try and find the other 3. What do you think? Give me ideas and I'll tell you if they're on here or not.
Closed-toed shoes.
Closed-toed shoes. Number 4, dress properly. Okay. Now what are the other 2, do you think? The last ones?
Know the weather.
Yep, number 3, know the weather. And then you still need to find one more.
Drink lots of water.
Although drinking lots of water, having a healthy diet, and nutrition is important, it's not the most important, I would say. Okay, so it's not on my list, but you're right still. Okay. What do you think the last one on my list is?
Dress according to the weather.
We already had that one. That was number 4 on the list. Dress properly. Okay.
That's the toed shoes.
Yeah, that was the closed-toed shoes.
Wear a life jacket.
That was
That was the first one I said. Okay, so the second most important part of safety is always act safe. So behavior, basically. So to recap, the most important parts are always wear a life jacket, always act safe, know the weather, and dress properly. Okay, so that concludes it for today's lesson. I hope it's been informative, and hope we've met our goal of always being able to be prepared. And there we go.